This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.
Okay. All right, good afternoon and welcome to the 2020 COA Board Annual Meeting. It is Wednesday afternoon, May 4th, and we are being recorded. And I know not present today will be Rini is not available today and Jonathan is not available today. So thank you to everybody else from joining. And Josie, I don't know if you're really with that background, but
Don't I wish?
Beautiful.
very nice, very nice.
Yeah, we just flew out last night and
Yeah,
Yeah, it's nice.
very, very
But
nice.
that's
So-
Mount Tom back there, isn't it? I'd recognize that anyway.
So Jim, you're still clerking today, correct?
No, I mean, it's a horrible, miserable, gray, dreary day, and I'm just trying to get myself in a good mood.
Okay.
But with all you, I'm sure it will work
It
out
will.
well.
Good, good. Okay, so let's have a motion to approve the minutes.
I,
We
so
need
moved.
We need to what? Go ahead.
we need to make a correction on page.
Well, let's take a motion and then we'll second and then we'll have discussion, Jim.
Okay,
I
Okay,
move to approve the minutes.
okay, that's Sylvia.
and
Thank
I'll
you.
second.
Josie, second. Okay, discussion.
on page 2, I incorrectly stated that Maureen asked about the Southampton COA, whether it could use funds for a feasibility study. That was Joan who
Okay,
asked that. So I would move that the minutes be amended to change Maureen to Joan.
so we
I
can
second.
take a motion to, is there any discussion, other additional discussion before we make? We can make a motion to accept as modified. If
Was
there,
I
that,
move
is
to
that about
accept
the
this.
ARPA funds? I'm sorry, was that about the ARPA
Yes,
funds? Okay,
yeah.
very good.
okay, so we have amended the motion to approve the minutes as amended. We had a first and a second somewhere.
Yes, first.
I'll second.
Okay, thanks, Lori. Welcome. Hi, Nancy, by name. How are you?
Who made the motion? I don't want to have to
I
correct. you.
did. I
Oh,
did.
Thank you, Sylvia.
Okay, so all in favor of approving the minutes, and I will run down the names. Okay, so Lori,
Yes.
Sylvia,
Yes,
Jim,
Yes,
Nancy.
Hi.
Hi. Josie
Yes.
and Janet. Yes. Okay, great. All right, thank you. All right, so Nancy, I was going to delay the treasurer's report until you could join us visually, or can you do that?
Give me like 5 minutes. Can we do
Okay.
something first? I'm just
Yeah.
going in.
Okay, great. So we'll delay the discussion of the treasurer's report. But we're going to move right into recommendations for board openings. So first of all, I haven't officially did I receive anything from you, Lori, in writing? I know that you won't be,
No, I remember I had asked, did you need something in writing? You didn't think so,
it's your term is expiring at the end of June, so we
but I
have,
can do it in writing if you want.
just probably to make it, you can just send me an email that you.
I can
won't
send
be-
you an email that says I quit.
You could do that. You could do that. Hi, Giselle. Thank you for joining us again. And congratulations on your business week.
Thank you.
Okay. So we have actually 2 terms that are expiring. One is Lori and the other one is Nancy. So in discussion with Nancy, unless something happened in the last 24 hours, she would be interested in being reappointed. Is that still the case, Nancy?
Not
you
quite
think-
available yet.
She's
she's muted. Yeah.
Okay, so And I did send out an application to everybody. And Susan was at the last meeting. She's going to try to get here, but she's she's traveling from Boston this afternoon, so she'll try to join us later, but.
I couldn't actually read it.
Yeah, it
was-
was,
No, I couldn't either.
but she did join us and tell us a little bit about herself at the last meeting. Let me see if I can interpret it.
Yeah, because I was in transit at that point.
Yeah. I know it's here somewhere. I hope.
Is it in the minutes?
Nope. I don't know. Was it in the minutes, Jim? Did you record anything about Susan in the minutes? I don't remember off the top of my
I'd
head.
have to go
Yeah,
back.
I didn't go into any great detail about her background, but I can make out some of the stuff in her application. Significantly, I think, she's got a master's degree in environmental services. She's been very active in various civil groups. She is taught. See, her master's is in environmental policy. And I'm just looking at it, but I mean, I think that based on what it shows up pretty well there too.
Oh, it shows up better there than it does when you.
Yeah.
No,
Right.
So, I mean, maybe it's premature to do this, but I would certainly nominate her for being recommended to the select board to be appointed to this board.
And I know she's recently been involved in some caretaking of a family member too. And I remember that she had shared about that as well during our last meeting. So and we want to kind of take a look at this a little bit more, folks, before I put it down, or
Yeah, no, it says I have taught something and I can't read what that
Uh,
word is.
preschool
Oh, that's preschool.
in Bethesda,
Oh,
Maryland.
In Maryland.
In Maryland, yep, in Bethesda, it looks like. And
Yes.
she-
How long has she been in town? Does anybody know?
It's
About 2
I
years?
think. Yeah, 2 to 3 years. She's been active with the pickleball, senior pickleball group. And I know some of her, let me see, assisting the council. I know some of, personally, that some of her passion is in gardening. I think she's either a master gardener or close to it. She's also an avid hiker. I think that I think I mentioned at the last meeting, I thought that she would bring some new perspectives and some energy. She's an ever ready bunny for sure. So
I think she'd be a great asset.
Jim made a motion to accept Susan. So we make a recommendation to the select board, right? So we are making a motion to recommend Susan C. Bolt. Jim has made it. Do we have it? Did we have
I'll
a second?
second.
Okay, Josie. Seconded. So let's do a quick roll call. Lori,
Yes,
Sylvia,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Nancy,
Yes.
Josie.
Did you say me?
Yes, Josie,
Yes,
Joanne,
Josie. It's right there.
and Janet, yes. Okay, so great. Thank you, everybody. And the next person to be recommended to return, do we have a motion for the other individual to
I will
return?
You mean
make
to
a
have
motion.
Lori return?
No, Lori-
no,
We
No,
talking
no,
about
no.
Nancy here?
we're talking about Nancy here.
Oh.
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I'll look-
Okay,
let's-
I'll
Yeah,
make a
yes.
motion. You gotta look her in the
Nancy
eye and
return.
say it, Jim.
Oh, she's on.
I
I will make a recommendation to renominate Nancy.
I
Okay.
And I'll
second.
second it.
Okay, so we have a motion in 2 or 3 seconds. Okay, so let's go down the list. Lori,
Yes,
Sylvia,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Josie,
Yes.
Janet. Yes. And Nancy, do you want to vote for yourself? Okay. great.
Yes,
All
she
right.
does.
So, and please remember that we have room for associate members as well. So if we have other people that are interested, please don't forget to mention it to them because we're always looking to expand the board as much as we can. We need more opinions. The ones we have are just,
Are you saying we're
enough,
getting
right?
old?
No. I would never say that, Josie. Giselle, do you want to quickly just introduce yourself again? Because a couple people weren't here at the last meeting. We
What?
can do it when you're not in a call.
I Giselle Gaines from Savita. I work out of Springfield, West Springfield, Holyoke area. I also have clients in Southampton, so I'm here to learn more about what you guys are doing and contribute to anything you guys are doing and enhancing it. So I'm here as a liaison between my company and the community and offering gifts and some value to what you guys are doing.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thanks again. for
What's
returning.
the name of your company again, Giselle?
It's called Savita. We were formerly known as the Mentor Network. We acquired the Quality Life Centers and Canas from the old owners. So we're the new management of those centers. I know that sometimes they had they had a bad reputation at the end. We acquired them in 2019, December. So when the pandemic hit, we closed and we updated everything. We did the new floors, new paint job, bought new chairs, made it very modern, new TVs. So it's a different center than what other people thought qualities were before. So we are in the same locations, but we still have the signs. So you'll see Quality Life in front of the centers. We haven't changed those things. We're currently going through a name change. So because that's happening, it's taking some time to update our signage. But Savita is kind of like the mother company of the Qualities and Canas and other adult day health centers through the Massachusetts area. And then we also have foster care. We do adult foster care. We do a whole lot of other things as the Mentor Network. So we're a very big organization.
Thank you.
Could you spell Savita, please?
Sevita.
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
Sevita. My phone is ringing. That's what I was like.
It's okay.
And that
Yeah.
was DA as in David or
No,
PA?
As in Thomas. Savita.
Okay.
Okay. And I want to just, I believe Giselle was just awarded Business Week's 40 under 40. So thank
Thank
you.
you.
That's a great acknowledgement. So
Yeah, very nice.
Congratulations.
I'm excited. I hope you guys read my article. I really love the work I do, and I
Yes.
really love my community and love to expand as well. So I'm happy to be here, learning from you guys, learning your territory. I'm eager to go over there and see the properties and see the houses and enjoy the activities that you guys do. So please invite me. I was on vacation for the last event you guys had, but I'm here and I'm available.
great.
And I don't mind traveling to Southampton. It's not far, like
Right.
everyone else says. Okay.
And where was the article? Giselle?
Business West. So Business West, 40 under 40.
For the under what?
40 under 40.
40 under 40.
What's that?
I'm gonna share the link. I'll share the link on
I
the
don't
chat for
remember.
you guys.
40 people under the age of 40.
Yeah.
Recognizes in the area. Yes.
Yeah, I'll send you guys the link. I'll copy it now.
All right.
Oh, okay, thank you.
I'll share it on the chat.
Okay. Thank you. I just want to, in case for those people that hadn't met you at the last meeting. So I do want to let's go into the election of officers. And let me just put that up in the chat, Giselle. So I will start with nominations for treasurer. Do we have any nominations for Jim?
I nominate Nancy Ruscio.
And I'll second that.
We'll all second that.
Do we have a motion to close nominations?
I move to close.
Do you have a second to move to close?
We second,
All in favor, Lori,
yes.
Sylvia,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Nancy,
Okay.
Josie,
Yes.
and Janet. Okay, great.
Poor
thank you.
Nancy. You didn't have a chance, Nancy.
Okay, nominations open for secretary clerk.
I nominate Jonathan J.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, let's, any additional nominations? Do we have no-
move-
Well, only if Jim is willing to do it.
Yeah, I think he has shared with us in the past that he's stepping down.
And I
so-
spoke to Jonathan and he indicated that he would be willing to do it.
Excellent. Okay.
Very good.
Do we have a motion to close nominations?
I move.
Okay, Sylvia,
Second.
second. Josie, second. Okay, so nomination of Jonathan J as our secretary clerk. Lori,
Yes.
Sylvia,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Nancy,
Yes.
Josie,
Yes.
and Janet. Yes. Okay, great. Vice Chair. Lori was our vice chair and she is
Resign.
it's going to have a hard time to be vice chair when she's not a member, although you could.
No.
Any
Would
nomination?
Sylvia, I don't want to nominate unless she's interested, but Sylvia, would you be interested?
Can I think about it?
You have 1 minute.
Okay.
No, we can table this until our next meeting because they don't take effect until July 1st. So the new board,
Great.
so Jim, you can talk to Jonathan, you can help transition for a month,
Yeah,
So, because the term actually expires at the end of June, our annual meeting is now and we do this in advance, so we're not scrambling at the last minute. That's based on our bylaws. So if Sylvia wants to, unless there's someone else that wants to be nominated. Okay. All right. So we'll table vice chair until our next meeting. And then think who would be willing to fill in. I'd be willing to fill in as vice chair.
You're getting nominated for chair.
Oh,
Yeah. Don't even go there.
all right.
I don't know.
Okay, so
Jim,
we'll
would you-
table that until the June meeting. Nominations for chair.
I nominate Janet Kane.
I second.
Additional nominations.
No.
Motion to close nominations.
I move
So
to close.
moved.
You guys just know I
Yes.
love this so much. Okay, vote Lori,
Yes.
Sylvia,
Yes.
Jim,
yes.
Nancy. She's muted. I hope
She's
that,
saying yes, but she's muted.
okay,
Yes. Sorry.
that's okay. Josie,
Yes.
and I guess I can vote for myself. Okay, all right, thank you. So, election of officers is closed.
I just want to say, as a non-voting member of this board, that is the most streamlined veterans version of doing this, and I applaud you all.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
Robert's rules, boom, boom, boom.
Uh,
Okay, so let me bring up the treasurer's report. Nancy, you're good? I keep losing Nancy.
Sorry, I am here and I'm listening.
Okay, are you ready for the treasurer's report? We can move into other items if it's not good time.
No, we might as well go for it.
Okay. All right. You want to talk through it? Did everybody get a chance to view it? Did you, Jim, did you do okay viewing this?
yes, yeah, I've got it here.
And I apologize, I did send very late the last payroll, which was the 4/23, but it didn't make the report, so I apologize for that.
Okay. And when did that go out, Joan? Last week?
I think I might have sent it Monday, but I don't know that. I hopefully you received it. It went to
Yes.
both.
Yeah, I got it today
Okay.
or
No,
yesterday. Got it
yeah.
yesterday. But I
So-
didn't have time to put it in, but it's not a big change. So it's
Okay.
pretty much, everything is pretty much what it is.
Okay, good.
It's all on track, as we've noted in the past months. There's a little bit of a change just because of COVID and us having the open position. And other than that, questions?
Nancy, can I also add that, as Joan had
Yes.
mentioned before, there was a carryover amount from the state formula grant, so I wanted to get that confirmed, and we got that confirmed from Bradley. It was on the last report of the $2,331.38, so that will be added to the 14,496 when it does arrive. It could be here and sent electronically, and we hasn't been processed yet, so they weren't sure if if it's actually in-house yet, but
I put it on already. Whoop.
pardon me?
I put it on already, right?
Yes, it's in there. Yep.
Yeah.
I have it highlighted so that people can see the carryover.
Okay,
amount.
great.
So,
Sorry, I'm moving, so.
yeah, well, that's okay. I just wanted to I mean, I know we got the expense report, Joan. It said 233138. I just asked Ed to confirm that just to be certain, because our reports have been kind of delayed. So, so that's done. And we did send an invoice to I think it's the Executive Office of Health and Human Services, I think, who are issuing the ARPA grant funds to the Council on Aging's. And that was for $50,000. We do not have an account number yet because we haven't received it yet. As soon as there is one, it will go here. And at the last in column O under ARPA funds. And that would be $50,000 when we get that in-house. So I guess once it's in-house, it doesn't leave, I'm assuming. Right? Once it's in. Right, Joan?
So we spend it, right?
Well, yeah, it's for us to spend, so. And the same thing with the state formula grant, whatever we don't spend this year, we carry over into next year, so.
That's good.
That doesn't mean that we shouldn't get what we need for this year, but it's always good to have carryover, because that's a new feature of the state formula grant, which is great. Instead of the June scramble, the dance, right? So. Okay, anything else? Any other questions for Nancy on this? Okay, do we have a motion then to accept the treasurer's report?
I
So
move.
moved.
Okay, you had a tie, so I heard Josie's voice and I don't know who else I heard, so
Josie,
Josie and somebody else, and who's second then?
I do. Sylvia.
Sylvia, okay. All right, here we go again. All in favor, Lori,
Yes.
Sylvia,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Nancy. I'm sorry.
Yes. Sorry.
You're moving. No, that's fine. Josie
Yes.
and Janet, yes. Okay, great. Thank you for taking care of that, Nancy, and get it out. Yeah. So if the warrant is in hand, Nancy, we can maybe update it. So Joan, that was submitted to the town and over a week ago. I mean, is there a way to get them to Nancy a little sooner? I know it's been a crazy couple weeks, so.
I
Any
have
idea?
not seen anything that I'm aware of for that. I mean,
No, I'm talking about the warrant that you missed for last week for the 23rd.
yeah, it's a matter of doing it and sending it. That's all
Okay.
it is. And
Okay.
it's a matter of, maybe I should put a sign over my desk. Payroll, send to Nancy.
She could call you every,
Oh, my
Thursday.
God.
No.
Oh, no, no, I own that. I
In
own
her
it.
free time, no.
I
In your
own
free
that.
time. Okay, good. All right, so we're moving on to the director's report. Let me find that, the revised version. I haven't looked at it to see what was revised, Joan, but,
Oh, I just had some typos.
okay.
And just a couple things, since we were talking about the treasurer's report, if you look at, I didn't number it, but down by the Frida, the 1, 2, 3rd, 4th item.
Yeah.
So Ken covered on Patriots Day. He took 3 or 4 runs. He worked 6.5 hours. He was entitled to time and a half. it was questioned by the boss that that was probably not a good use of time, that no one should be working on the holiday. It's kind of a minor holiday. I guess some, the doctors were open. They were medical appointments. So anyway, he was entitled to time and a half. The money is there in the grant, but he will not be working on Memorial Day or 4th of July or Labor Day,
Or probably Patriots Day next year either.
and probably Patriots Day next year.
I mean, if there's a question, obviously the best thing to do is to check with Ed before scheduling things for that day.
So we automatically, and I've only been there 4.5 years. I don't know what happened prior to me, but the drivers would say, I worked those days. I can work that day. I have a client. And if Frida or the town administrator says that we should not be working, well, then I want them to own that. I mean,
Yep, that's what I'm saying. You should go to Ed. Yep. Because if we're closed, chances are typically that,
well, they used to have trips to the concerts and we were closed. So, I mean, they do travel when we're closed. They travel on Fridays when we're closed.
Would it
We
be,
used to go out to Stanley Park on Sundays.
right? I think because it's an official holiday, maybe is the difference.
but
You know,
it's,
I don't-
it is a
But-
state holiday, it's not the federal holiday.
It's a
That's
state
the,
holiday and we work for the state.
yeah.
Yes.
But we also work for the
That's-
seniors. And if a senior has a doctor's appointment, it's kind of sad that we can't transport them.
And I'm not saying that we can't, and I don't think Joan definitely is not saying that we can't. I think we just need to alert the town administrator in advance. That's all. So it's just another learning opportunity.
So that was one thing. I wanted to bring up closer to the beginning of this, and many of you may know or may know him. MCOA lost their fearless leader this past week. David Stevens passed away. I didn't
saw-
realize.
Yeah.
Yep.
he
I
was
I
so
sent out
ill.
the email about it, from the MCOA.
And I
yeah.
saw that there was an article on the paper about it
There
Right.
was in the Gazette or.
in the Gazette.
Okay,
It
I'll
was the
have to-
Gazette and Janet shared it with everybody.
okay, does anybody know about services or anything?
Oh, it was listed.
I haven't seen anything yet, Joan, but I'm sure it'll be on the MCOA newsletters that we get. And if I see it come through, because you don't always get a chance to read those, but I'll let you know.
Yeah, it was brought up at Highland Valley as well, because it was a statewide organization, but it was here in Hampshire County in Easthampton. And I had the privilege of knowing him for 30 years. So he was the spearhead of the whole organization. He grew the organization. He was, the lobbyist that got us our formula grant, starting in the 80s or whenever he started. So I just wanted to say that, it's a great loss for councils on aging and the Mass Council on Aging Agency.
Yeah, very sad. Too soon.
So.
Thank you for sharing that, Joan. Okay.
Sure. We've had a bang up month. Having the nurses there on Wednesday has really driven us to have some excellent programs, extra programs. I was just saying today, it was nice to have just a regular Wednesday where just the board meeting was the highlight of the day. And it was just, kind of run of the mill and not having the responsibility of having extra people coming and extra programming. But it was a wonderful month, which in the last 2 Aprils, we were shut down pretty much. So this is kind of an exciting April. And the nurses completed their program, and we were very fortunate to have them. I look forward to next spring where we could have a couple more students come on board and learn some community nursing and be part of the Council on Aging.
Great. Yeah, they had a nice energy to them. Absolutely.
It just shows how much intergenerational programming and having the youth there, it really does help everybody. It brings us back. I mean, a lot of us are just young at heart, maybe our age, the calendar says we're older, but we don't necessarily feel older. Sometimes, some days we feel more old than others, but It does, it's renewed energy anyway. I want to talk about the wonderful cafe. Finally. Hire Sarah the Fiddler and they will come. And it was tremendous. It was one of the top 5 programs I've had in the last 4.5 years. And she was very engaging. She brought a lot of rhythm instruments. She brought some of her followers with her. And they were all seniors. And I haven't done the billing for Highland Valley yet. It has to be in by the 15th, but at least I feel we did a quality program, and I invited her back again, maybe in a few months.
Great.
John, a question. You mentioned in your report 36 people attended. Of those, do you know how many were from Southampton and how many need services, or did it just come because Sarah was performing?
So that's a good question. That came up at Highland Valley as well, because we're not the only ones doing memory cafes. So I would say of the 36, half were from Southampton because they knew Sarah. I will look at that specifically because that's on my list to do. Because you have to say where you're from. The other groups were out of Easthampton and Northampton. And I really feel that this discussion about did they need services? Did they have memory issues? We did talk a lot about music and how music brings back a lot of memories. Was it the actual memory cafe, the structured one that we had hoped for? No, but it was open to all, which Huntington does. And I think it was well received. And it did we talked about senior moments and how to strengthen our memory, how to, nutrition and hydration and all kinds of things. So there was connection. Anyway, I think it was an excellent program, and I was able to get Lisa to try and come back again on the 19th of May, and I'm hoping to do some more Facebook things. Like I said earlier to Jim, Sarah has 3,000 followers. So she sent out the event and we just tagged into it and kept sending it. Plus the billboards, which have been wonderful. Thank you so much for the billboard, the Lions Club, which was, right. It's so big and it's right in the middle of town. And the flyers that Janet did, they were extraordinary. They were huge. And I know Jonathan J and a few other people went out, put them up around town. They had a picture of her. They were colorful. I mean, it was very inviting. So I think doing that marketing that was missing helped a lot. I did ask a few people where they heard about it. Many of them was Facebook, believe it or not.
So could you get a picture from Lisa?
I'm thinking about that. I talked to her today. I didn't ask for a picture, but I will. And I'm wondering, there may be something online. Is that how you found Sarah's? Did you find it online?
Now somehow she's got my email, so she sent a bunch of pictures to me. So I just picked one of the ones that she had sent. I may be on an email distribution of hers now, so I just borrowed from that.
Speaking of senior moments, who's Lisa?
Lisa Pernice Gomes. She's connected with
here
Home
somewhere?
Watch.
Okay, right here, Jim, on the COA Director's Report, if that helps, in the middle of the page.
Oh, yes. Okay, fine.
Okay.
Thank you.
So she was scheduled for March and then no one showed up and I called her to stay home. So then I rescheduled her for Mother's Day and that got canceled. And so now she's available on the 19th of May and she does something similar, but she plays the guitar, she sings, she has rhythm instruments like Sarah had. So there's engagement, people are involved. She's done this for years. She's connected with Home Watch caregivers. And I think early on in the discussion of what programs we were going to have for Memory Cafe, they came up and her name came up, but we never were able to connect with her. So I'm hoping that we'll get, some followers. We're working big on the menu, which the menu was awesome for April. We had a quiche and asparagus, and it was just perfect. It was a great event. So this one, we're working on the menu, and I'm very lucky to have Mary Hatzapetro. She is a cook.
Oh, good. Is there, does she have her own Facebook page, and were you able to share this? I know you talked about how you have links to all the other COA directors. Were you able to send it out for Sarah, or can you send it out? Because I mean, again, it's
I
not just
haven't,
for
but I can.
Southampton, so,
Yeah,
okay. If we get a flyer that we can get an image, because definitely a picture makes a huge difference. I think Sarah just has a following, period. But if we can get it to them, and we can get it to maybe some of the, healthcare organizations in the area, that maybe we could, continue. And the other thing I was going to ask, I mean, if there's any way we could, and maybe it's not this month, but maybe one of the following months, have a caregiver breakout so that we have somebody. And I know Giselle had sent a couple recommendations, but it didn't fit in for this last month, so that we could maybe have a breakout for the caregivers and have something for the memory P folks.
I did call and I did connect with somebody, and they were promised me they were going to send somebody, so up to the 11th hour, I thought somebody was coming. And then when they didn't come, I filled in. But Sarah can do the whole hour and a half. I mean,
but we're not talking about Sarah here. We're talking about
no,
if we want to do a breakout even for somebody that came and gave the caregivers a break. But
and
I mean,
maybe we'll just do a caregiver one. I mean, I don't know.
Well, we still need.
We don't have space for a breakout. We don't have another room.
We could reserve, can't we reserve the select board room?
It's already being used by Healthy Bones and Balance.
So they're not moving to 9 o'clock?
They're not. And I'm
Okay.
trying to get them to do that, but they're not happy about it.
Okay. I mean, they've been there for a long time, so I don't want to bump them by any
I
means.
know, because I wanted to cancel it. Actually, they canceled the one on the day that Sarah was there, and people came from that group. So, but they're not willing to cancel it every week.
So, I mean, if there's, and I know it's across the road, but I know Josie has mentioned that there's a room at the church if we wanted to do a caregiver breakout or something. So just something to keep in mind so that we're.
It sounds great, but I think really you need really a trained professional to handle a caregiver breakout, because people are really looking for guidance. And I remember there's that one program we had where I think Nancy set it up. I mean, that was incredibly informative and helpful. And I think if we can't continue something of that caliber, that the caregiver breakout, it might turn people off, unless it's worthwhile.
Jim, I think that our intent would be to bring in a qualified individual for that. If we can't do that, then we wouldn't do it at all.
Yeah.
Okay. So I know Giselle had given us a couple names of people that could speak to stuff, but I mean, maybe, and I'm not going to talk about it during our meeting, but maybe something that Joan can follow up with her, and maybe.
Joan, we can meet offline and talk about brainstorm on that if you want. Just send me a link and I'll meet with you and we can just brainstorm on ideas for the.
Great, because I'd like to really set up things for the next, 6 months. We have the grant until I think it's September of 2023.
Well, September 22, it gets renewed for another year, right?
Oh, right.
So
we need to get through September.
You can't, and we can't, it's too late to advertise it for this month. So I mean, it would be something down in the next couple months or whatever.
Right, and it would be really important because I would like to do one more mailing in the next, if not in June, maybe July, August, but something that's hardy and has some really good info.
Okay, good. All right, anybody else before we move from your report other than, and we'll talk about the opening and the program coordinator in the next group. And I can't believe that 17 town residents turned 80 or older in the month of April.
Before you do that, can we go back to her, Joan's priorities?
Yes, yep.
And where was I going with this? Oh, the volunteer luncheon. Where is Glendale Ridge?
The winery.
It's a vineyard.
Oh,
here on
okay.
Glendale Road.
So there was talk that, well, that's Flo's last hurrah. And we have a lot of oversight at the senior center. Plus we have to get a caterer. So I was hoping that we could do it off campus and possibly at the vineyard. That right now they're not opening till 3 o'clock on Fridays. So I'm not sure if that's gonna work. But that was the hope, that to have the volunteer luncheon, it would be catered as well, but it would be a different venue than the senior center.
So, I mean, you can, if you need Mary Hamill's name and email address, I can get that to you, Joan, if you want to have discussions with her.
That'd be great, because I just left a phone. I was gonna go right up to the vineyard after 3 on Thursday, but I mean, I haven't
That's
gotten
an
there yet.
option as well.
But yes, I would like her email, because Flo seemed to know who she was as well, and she's willing to help with that. I mean, that's part of her program, being a volunteer coordinator is planning that program, so.
Glendale Ridge is one of my favorite places in town. I mean, it's beautiful and nice. But is there an accessibility issue there with seniors?
So it's for the volunteer coordinators. Right now, I don't have anyone that has accessible. It's not a senior function, it's just by invite. So
Okay.
I don't know that, I can check it out when I go.
Yeah.
We
I
want to make
mean,
sure like bathrooms are
As I said before, it's
accessible.
a beautiful, beautiful venue and local, and we should support it. But I mean, just walking from the parking areas up, I think could be difficult for some people. But
We
if
could
you're
have
saying
the,
there's nobody impaired in that regard, that's fine with me, but
We could have the bus do transport. We could have people park at the senior center and have the bus bring people there. So they wouldn't have to
I
worry
think
about
the issue-
parking.
What Jim is saying is the issue walking from the parking lot to the vineyard itself. I mean,
yeah.
they do have a walking path.
They repaved it, they
They've
rebricked.
got bricks down, yeah,
Yeah, I think it's better now.
but it's just the incline.
So check
I'll
it
be-
out, Joan, and see if there's any,
Yeah.
I know there's in the past, I mean, the food trucks pull in kind of higher up by the vines themselves. That if somebody really had an accessibility issue, you could probably get approval from the Hamills to have somebody drive in by the tent in the back, maybe not all the way in, but much closer. I mean, that could be an option.
And I was hoping that we could have it inside. Do you think we can fit 40 people inside? I don't know what the capacity is.
Again, I don't know what their COVID regulations are at this point in time. So you would have to have a discussion with Mary. You could get 40 people in there. It depends on what their personal, business criteria is at this moment. So it probably wouldn't hurt to send her an email and then set up a time to meet with her. That seems to work out best. I mean, if you want to reserve it, there may be a cost to reserving it, but you would have to speak to her about that.
Great, thank you.
Okay. I can't answer your questions for her. Okay, but I mean, it's a nice indoor facility as long as there's nobody that you feel would have an issue walking in, so. Good question though, Jim, good thought.
And all the board members are volunteers and would be invited, just as an aside.
Thank you. Tell me again the date?
And right now
24th.
it's June 24th. But
Okay.
that could change if Mary says that maybe it's not available that day, but that's the plan right now.
Okay. All right. I have a question not related to the luncheon or the vineyard. Could you talk to us a little bit about the laptops? What's been happening? Has people been using them? Have there been any issues of upgrading them?
So we've checked them all out. We've got them all back except for, I think there are 2 still out on loan. 2 of the 6 are still out. There hasn't, the tech support, which is happening with Megan, has blossomed. I was thinking to close it down, but she had 4 people the other day. So as far as the loan program, that hasn't taken off per se. I mean, initially we had, maybe 4 out, we've gotten a couple back. But the support where people have their own device and need some, technology assistance so that, some questions and answers, that has been very successful.
So the ones that were returned, have they been checked and upgraded?
I have not there. I actually had given a couple to Megan to, we were trying to give one out to one of our volunteers. I think she did finally get one of them. But I guess she would be the person. I wouldn't know what to do when you mean check it out. Like,
Yeah,
just-
Megan would be the good person to use, Joan. She's
right,
the
so-
expert.
I will, I'll take them out again. She has seen them at least once because we were trying to pick a device for one of our other seniors. She's a volunteer. So-
Because every so often it appears that they need to be upgraded. They send you a sign or a message. It's usually a sign.
Software updates, yeah.
Yeah, ready for updates. And if the person that has it doesn't know what to do, they need to be upgraded. Otherwise, something is not going to function properly.
They've been sitting in drawers, so they're probably not upgraded.
Okay, so that's what I am talking about or asking about. If you can talk to Megan about whenever she doesn't want to have, I don't know, how it works, is for her to make time or during her time there that she's on a weekly basis. I don't know what arrangement we have with her.
Yeah,
But
well, she's been straight out, believe it or not, because I wanted her to help get a copy machine going and she didn't have time. So, because she's working with individuals, but I know Sylvia and I spoke because Sylvia's been trying to help me with the newsletter, but she doesn't have the newsletter app, the publisher. So we're trying to get somehow a publisher app on either one of the tablets or available so that people can, instead of sending corrections, they can do the corrections themselves on an app. So there are many reasons to have those tablets upgraded, and one of them may be to help with the newsletter. So I will make that one of my
I don't
priorities.
know. I don't know if I will feel comfortable taking in something that I have a computer, so I don't know if I feel comfortable taking something out that I really don't need.
It wouldn't be any cost to you, but maybe.
No, I'm not talking about the cost. I'm not talking of just in general. I don't know how ethical that would be. That's my thought.
So we'll have to work that offline, probably figure that out. But I think, Megan, if it says software updates, that's a pretty simple step for her to take. And then, I think it's, you have to determine if you can have a volunteer that's willing to make changes to the newsletter online, and then something goes wrong and the whole newsletter goes kafooey and it changes everything. I'm not sure, trying to let
It
somebody else.
doesn't happen like that because it's already saved. But anyway, I understand it's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
okay.
that's.
I get paid to do it, but I just don't have enough time.
Well, as you know, I will continue to help in whatever I can. Just send it to me on time. And then I'll have a conversation with you offline sometime next week. I'll make an appointment to either talk to you over the phone. I have some thoughts, some ideas that I want to share with you. So I won't take time from the meeting, but probably within a week, I'll be in touch with you, or less time than that. Because
I apologize. That again, I own that, and I can bring the computer home, so I could work at home. And I've already started the June calendar, so.
Okay, yeah, because then we tried to do let's get all the articles into you by the 10th, so that maybe by the 11th or 12th, you can get it to Sylvia for corrections, and then
Beautiful.
another 1 or 2 people for oversight. So if we can try, if it's possible to squeeze that in, so we're not up against the 15th deadline like happened.
April was just a crazy month.
Yep, no, understood. No
No,
judgment
yeah.
there. So,
Yeah, no, I understand. Just one more question. You said that 2 of the laptops were out. You mean they have not returned them since you asked them, or they don't have a deadline, or they haven't filled out the form? They don't know now the printed
They were still
regulations?
using them. I don't have the form. You did give me a form. I'll have to find the form. Maybe it's in an email. I will get the form and I'll track them down and make sure they fill out the form.
Okay, I will send it to you again.
Sylvia, can I ask you a favor? If you're next week sometime, if you're driving by the senior center, drop off a printed form.
I will certainly will do that.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I may have it.
I know, but if you don't find it, just let Sylvia know and she can drop a hard copy off. Then you have one on file and you can always make copies of it. Joan, just-
They may even be in with the tablets.
Okay. Good. I know
Okay,
Sylvia, you
yeah,
have to
we'll
leave
make a
in,
copy and stick it to the tablets. Yeah.
so Sylvia, you're leaving around 5, right? So she's trying to squeeze all her questions in, Joan, before she leaves, so.
I'm sorry. Yes, yes, I apologize. I'm taking time, but I've been.
No, that's all right. Good
thinking about that.
questions.
No.
All
I
right.
will-
Any other questions on Joan's current priorities? So the one thing I don't see here is, and maybe it's done, and I sent you an email, but like all emails, if they're like mine, they're buried, and maybe you responded and I didn't see you respond, Joan. So the temporary PCF for Mary.
That was handled.
So it's done, it's signed, and she's been extended.
I'm 99.5% sure.
I know it came up at the last PPPB and we approved it.
Because it wasn't on the select board meeting last night. So was that the meeting before, Josie, or?
Well, actually, they were leaving. We kind of expedited the meeting. And right after our meeting, let's see, John and Donna were going to the select board meeting. And I thought that they were supposed to handle it at that meeting.
But it has to be on the select board agenda. That's the problem. It's
Oh.
because the PPPB only meets once a month and then it doesn't always line up with select board. So
Well, they just signed a whole bunch of them last night and a whole bunch of them the week before. So that's the only reason I'm concerned.
all right, well, I walked into the office and John Lumber was there and Ed Gibson was there. And I said, I submitted all the forms. Is it still okay? Because I did have questions from the treasurer. I did what I needed to do. I'm sorry. I don't know what else to do.
Okay, no, just,
Well, and I think it was, I know that we went through and we had said because we were trying to expedite the meeting because of their time schedule. And it was on that schedule and we approved it,
okay.
as far as I
and you
know,
got
but
the-
from there on, I don't know. I think John just takes it to
Okay,
whoever he has to take it to.
He's on the select board, so he
Yeah.
should bring it directly, but if it's not on the agenda,
yeah, it has to get on the agenda the week before, so.
And we're talking about the Mary who is currently working in the
Yes,
office.
it's a 12-week, temporary position. The 12 weeks ran out, so Joan has to
Right.
go through the
I
process.
don't know how to
again.
pronounce her last name. I'm sorry.
that's a Petro. It's Greek.
How do you say it?
Hat, like a hat.
Uh-huh.
Z. Petro.
Huh.
HATIZEPTRO.
Right. Petro. Good.
Okay, I just want to make sure, so she's still working then, Joan, right? You've got the okay for her to continue
Huh?
on?
Yes, John, I met with John and
Ed,
the
Ed,
town
okay.
administrator, and I said,
Get a whole bunch of people and send it out as one email, right?
Yep.
Giselle, you need to, I'm gonna mute you.
Thanks. I'll call you a little later.
She's muted, okay, sorry, Joe.
I got a
Very good.
verbal, I've got a verbal
Okay.
from John Lumbra and Ed Gibson that yes, it was taken care of and she could continue to work.
Okay, good, that's all. I'm just worried, making sure that you have the Mary.
I did get a
available.
question from the treasurer's office, so
Right,
I'm not
I
sure
remember
what's going on, but
Okay. All right. So
Janet, I'm sorry to interrupt
you
again.
have to go too, right?
No, but
Oh, okay,
before we
well-
leave, COA Director priorities here.
Okay.
The program coordinator job. Joan, I'm looking at the last sentence. It says 4 contacted to fill out town application. Were you able to reach those 4?
so how it works is that Indeed, there, I don't have a direct number to them. It says set up interview or chat. I sent a message out to 4 people through Indeed. I got 1 response so far, and that's where I'm assuming that everyone got the message. They send it out. I can't directly send it to their email. It goes through their Indeed account. But
All
one
right.
of the 4 did come and fill out an application.
And what about the other 2 that Jonathan found the other day? I sent you an email, but I haven't gotten a response yet.
Sorry, I'm not aware of it. If you sent it to me, I'm very behind on emails.
All right, well, he came up with 2 other people that possibly we would be interested in interviewing.
Jonathan J.
Mhm,
So it was his email.
yeah,
Well, you
Yeah,
responded.
I
to his
apologize. I
email.
don't know. I didn't see it.
all right, and I don't have the folder in front of me, it's in the other room. So I'll give you the names, I'll call you tomorrow. My other question, Janet, is to you. If we have these people coming in for interviews, would this be something that you would want the whole board to interview them?
No.
Yeah, we don't want a quorum at I mean, it's still the initial screening.
It's not like we're hiring a director or interviewing the director. I mean, I think if we want to help Joan so that there's more than one person doing the interview, that's great. I think we need to set up questions and interview questions that we've done in the past for people so that, we have a consistent interview amongst the people.
Yeah, that was
Um,
brought up at the meeting, is to have
And that's on my
consistent.
email too, that maybe Jim, Jay, and Jonathan and I could start writing questions, get together and consolidate.
And I have the questions from Darlene's interviews. I have questions that are available I could send out, and you can alter them towards program coordinator, I suppose.
Well, that'd be
Right.
great.
I think
As the same questions need to be asked of all applicants.
Right.
I think that it's best to ask open-ended questions that will allow the candidate to give us as much information as possible about their experience and why they're interested in the job and what skill sets they have and so forth. So not pointed questions, but rather general questions, but we ask all the same. And then our job would be to recommend to the hiring authority, which would be Joan, the candidates that we believe are worthy of further consideration.
Well, at the
And I
moment-
think in terms of the questions, you wouldn't want to just do the questions that you asked for Darlene, because you want to, have the questions related to the specific job description. So
Right.
everybody who's involved in that should have the updated job description.
Thank you, Josie.
Good.
Yeah, I don't think, certainly the whole board doesn't need this poor individual coming in and having all of us plus Joan. So, no, I think, and even if it's 2, if necessary, 3 people plus Joan, whichever, seems to be a comfortable number as well. So,
Okay, sounds
but
good.
definitely prepared and similar questions or the same questions. Absolutely agree with Jim. Open-ended questions. We want to hear them speak. We don't want to hear them yes and no. Want to give them an opportunity to show who they are. So,
Right.
okay, great. All right.
I'm gonna be leaving now. Sorry, I have to leave earlier.
Okay, Sylvia,
I'll
take care.
see you. Thank you.
Bye, Sylvia.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Sylvia.
Bye.
Excuse me, I'm sorry, but I have to jump in too. This is
Nancy.
Nancy. I'm sorry,
Go ahead.
I have to leave early as
Right.
well. I'm so
Okay.
sorry.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah. See you next month.
What
Okay.
else can we elect
Thanks,
her to do?
Nancy.
Yeah, and let's appoint Nancy and,
Take care, Nancy.
Bye.
Bye.
okay, bye
So-
Giselle. Giselle's going as well. Thank you.
So we can't have a friends update because Jonathan's not here. Is that
He
correct?
sent me something. I'm moving along, Joan.
June,
it's my meeting.
June's the dog, Joan's the,
It's my meeting agenda. Hold on, you're not done yet. No. Okay, so have we put together a PRF for the volunteer coordinator yet?
I have the blank.
Okay. I sent out today and I stole something from the MCOA because they're so good at sharing. It was kind of like a sample job posting from a volunteer coordinator, and I just sent it to you because I know
I
you
saw
may be
that, yeah.
redefining things and, so I just sent it to you and I sent it to everybody else too. I think it's a good, maybe you would feel differently about some of it, but it's a good starting place because the PRF, you have to have a job posting to go along with it, right?
She's not getting $16 and a half an
Right.
hour.
This might have to change, but it's a new position. It's funded by the state formula grant. So I think you have to balance, I mean, probably not 2275, but I think you can
So-
make a sliding scale as to what the person.
So we
Mhm.
want to change the position. That's why you're saying a PRF.
No,
Um,
you have to post it if you're posting a job, which you have to do, right? I think you need a PRF.
Okay.
You can confirm that with Ed, but maybe Josie can tell us too. She's on the PPPB for another few weeks.
For a new position, yes, you definitely need.
Well, it's a
PR.
replacement, so
It's a replacement, so I'm not sure how much we can change it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
Well-
I know I'm not involved directly in it, but I would recommend almost starting from scratch with the announcement because there's so much there that is really not appropriate for where we are.
that's where, Jim, I'm sorry. There's so much where that's not.
Well, for
appropriate.
example, we don't have a staff of professionals.
Are you talking about in this?
Yeah, I mean,
volunteer
your sample volunteer coordinator position.
Okay, where does it say the staff of professionals, just so?
Oh, let's see, I had it
Number
marked
six
up. I don't know where.
that we-
Working with a
With a
collaborative group of professionals
Okay.
professionals.
to
now this-
ensure the smooth operation of a thriving senior center.
So I think the first question marks are kind of marketing from this particular town. That's not part of the job description. I think below that is, but you could probably eliminate most of this
Well,
because it's advertising, and it's marketing to attract people to come in.
I
So
would
that's-
be happy to draft something if you would like. If not, I'll leave it to you. I don't care, but I just think that this would not be a good fit for what we're trying to do.
What are we trying to do?
Well, we're trying to prevent it to,
Just so we're all on the same page.
yeah, we're trying to recruit a program coordinator,
No,
not a
we're- this-
volunteer coordinator.
Volunteer
Jim,
coordinator.
this is for the volunteer coordinator position.
This is for Flo's job, Jim.
We're talking about.
oh,
the
okay, I was
volunteer coordinator.
misunderstanding.
Yeah, I didn't
that as
understand
well.
it either.
Sorry.
So we're looking at, my question to Joan was, do we have a PRF for the volunteer coordinator? Because Flo is leaving at the end of June and we're hopefully get a jump on the. So if we have Flo is leaving, do we need a PRF to post the job? And a PCF to hire somebody? So again, that was my question, Josie, initially.
Okay, I was
The PRF,
in the
Oh.
wrong position. I was not.
Okay, yeah,
the
we're
PRF
waiting-
seeks authorization to create the position, right?
or the
And
person.
that we have a created position here, so I don't know if you really need a PRF or not.
Yeah, I had this conversation with Robin and Jen the other day. And they said they needed the PCF because
PRF or PCF?
PCF for Flo because she was leaving.
Right, so they got
Then
that.
we do need to do a job posting, but I'm sure we need the PRF to go with that.
Okay,
So, but it's the cart and the horse thing I need to do. I have both blanks to fill out.
So this is the
Yeah,
part-
I
this is the
frankly,
part I'm looking at to see how does that fit in for what Joan is looking for to recruit somebody.
Well, I think what you sent out, this sample,
Mhm.
has some really good ideas. You look under qualifications. Maybe not an associate's degree preferred, but
Well, you can say
definitely,
preferred, but it may not,
yeah, high school equivalency. But
Do we have
the abilities and skills, it's exactly what we're looking for. You need somebody who's going to keep confidential information, somebody who's organized, uses word processing.
the only thing my issue would be that if there's a job description for the position, we should model this after the job description.
Well, we're not saying we wouldn't, that's exactly right. Look
Yeah,
at what the current
but I
one
don't know
is.
I don't know what the job description says about.
I'll
I-
send out what I have. It
Yeah.
hasn't been filled in 8 years, so I'll send out what
Yeah.
Yeah,
Remember,
we
Flo
need-
has been in this job forever.
But we needed to keep it current because that's part of the formula grant, is that when you have a position paid through from the formula grant, you have to include a job description with it. So I'll send you what I have.
Okay, because I don't have a job description, Joan, so that would be great. I think it's good to look at it and see if it still meets the needs of what you need that position to be.
right.
And I'm just thinking outside the box. I don't want to spend a lot of time on staffing, although I'm down to no one if once Flo leaves, if we don't hire anyone. But I mean, maybe, there's a combination, maybe we'll have to figure out if there's a way to do combined volunteer and programs. I don't know. I mean, different COAs do different things with different positions. So I think it's a little overwhelming right now because we have one empty that we're trying to work on, and now we're looking at another one to try and fill. So it's a little difficult, but I'll send you what I have, and one day at a time.
if you're trying to, my concern about combining the positions, and Jim, I'm interested in what you think, but it might almost downgrade the program coordinator if you combine it with a volunteer coordinator.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That would
I
be
think
my-
they're two distinct.
Yeah,
I mean, you want somebody who can do publicity and marketing and so forth on the one hand, and the other one is essentially scheduling and coordinating. And I think that would agree with Josie on that.
And can you go, is it better to have two people or one person? I think it's,
Two.
the other thing you have to think about,
Yeah.
John,
Well, too, it gives Joan the flexibility to schedule them in such a way that she always has somebody in the office,
Right.
which doesn't happen today,
I beg your pardon?
which doesn't happen today.
No,
Mm.
but I mean, if you have two people,
It never happened with the two people, Jim. So if we can expand the hours of the volunteer coordinator and get more coverage for so you can,
but it would give her the potential rather than having just one person.
yeah, I'm like,
Okay, so that's all I'm saying.
we're in agreement. So,
I believe one of the things that Jonathan had suggested when we met was that if you interview someone for program coordinator that just doesn't have the qualifications, but might be able to fill the volunteer coordinator position, maybe reach out to them.
Yeah.
So we might be able to utilize.
Yeah, I agree.
Also too, I mean, I know that sometimes I get too deep in the weeds and it's not appreciated, but there's some concern about whether or not Indeed is the best vehicle. I mentioned last time about, looking to cost per thousand and so forth. And what I found are articles that appeared in Forbes magazine, the rates Indeed very highly. It's one of the largest groups going. but tends to be more directed towards people in non-professional positions, non-office positions. Its big downturn thing is the cost involved. So, certainly I'm not opposed to using online services.
Did
But,
they recommend somebody else besides
well, they
them?
compared LinkedIn, Indeed, and JobQuest, is it? And ZipRecruiters. And, this is sort of a hybrid type thing, but for example, the Indeed works similarly to a pay-per-click ads where you get charged for each of your posts. And if somebody clicks in, you're charged. Again, the fee, if you have a sponsored posting, the fee can go from $25 to $50 per day.
Right, we paid $27 a day.
Dollars a day.
So Jim, I think we're not married to Indeed. We needed to do something. If somebody has solutions, we're happy to listen to solutions. So what's your recommendation?
Well, my solution is that I don't know if that's the best bang for our buck. That's what I'm saying.
So what's our solution? Where do we go instead? I'm open. I think Joan is open to anything that we can do. We've tried MCOA. So we're give us some direction. We're open, totally
Well,
open.
one thing, I think maybe word of mouth is a very good idea. I think maybe posting the job, as I've mentioned before, like at schools, or sharing that information with PTAs, people who are looking for part-time employment during the day because of other responsibilities that they have. Indeed is very wide geographically too, right? It's a very wide posting.
How about the newsletter?
The newsletter would be a great idea.
Which newsletter?
I agree
the
with
school.
The senior center newsletter.
Yeah. Senior school.
the,
I would say I'd look at the reminder, not as an ad, but maybe they'd be willing to print an article.
if you're, right now, we are coming into the tail end of the school years. So, and graduations. And if you got some ads to the various colleges, like Holyoke Community, or even whatever, well, any of the colleges, even high schools, if you don't require a degree, but you get it into the
Career center?
yeah, if they have a career center, the guidance counselor, or wherever, the principals,
Josie,
or
I
any of those.
attempted to post the job at Stick and at Holyoke Community College, and it was so complex that I gave up. And I'm happy to give it over to anybody that wants to try it. That was our first go to like Stick and HCC and try to get it posted. If anybody has time to go and take a look at it, because I'm happy to be shown that it wasn't that hard. Janet, what were you thinking?
No. I think even snail mail, just a poster, a posting, and snail mail to the college's career center. Or if we could find out an email. I know it was very difficult. I tried it too, and I gave up.
It was so frustrating. So if somebody wants to look up different career, like Holyoke and Sticks career centers, and provide either an email address or a phone number that we can call, we're very open to that. That was our first attempt. And I was very frustrated by it. So I'm happy to do that. I don't know the senior scoop. I'm not that sure that's going to reach the clientele that we're looking for. I'm not sure.
Although the last two staff that were excellent happened to be retirees from Southampton. I mean, Darlene worked for Northampton, for Leeds, or for, I don't know, Veterans Administration, came with some great skill sets. And Flo obviously came with some great, she worked for the school.
And it doesn't hurt to put them in the newsletter, you know, by any means, for sure. That kind of limits us to Southampton.
Well, we're, and it's still in the RSVP newsletter, still
Oh,
has our opening.
Okay. So, I mean, I certainly wasn't married to Indeed, but we were getting nothing. And that was the only idea we came up with. So if you think we could put it in the Norris school and say we're looking to hire, I don't know if it, you know, we can ask.
You know, personally, yeah, I would send just letters to Hampshire Regional and to Norris School, you know, asking if like the PTA or somebody wants to post it, just to get the word of mouth out. I'm looking behind Josie now, who destroyed the mountain, and reaching
She
out
left
to
different mountain.
reaching out to churches locally. You know,
And
not just
Josie, did we
UCC
post it at the
churches.
church? Did you post it at
No.
the church, Josie? Oh,
Yeah,
No,
but I mean, all the churches, you know, looking for people who are just looking to make a few extra bucks during, you know, it's not a career thing.
well, I think
It's,
a program coordinator could be the career. I think we need a more of a career oriented versus a job oriented person, someone that might be able to grow into the next step, be Joan's right-hand person. I mean, certainly Darlene fit that bill. And, you know,
But as Jonathan said, we have to hire younger so people don't retire in 5 years.
that helps too, right?
yeah.
now this may not be worth anything, but I wonder about just posting something on one of the bulletin boards in town. I mean, on the,
It's there. That's part of the posting is it's on the town clerk's wall.
well, I'm thinking the signage, you know,
She's
like in
on
front of
the
the fire
billboards.
department.
Oh,
Or,
oh, the Lions Club thing?
yeah, or the
Job openings? check-
women's club, not women's club, it's the
The
mother's
Mother's
club.
Club, yeah.
You know, maybe for the either volunteer coordinator.
Are we
in
feeling
paid
desperate?
position. Huh?
Yes,
Are we feeling desperate? Yeah.
Well, you know, being realistic about it, would be great to hire a 22-year-old kid who just finished college and wants a career, but they're not going to come to work for $17.
And 14 hours a week? No.
Yeah, I mean,
No.
being realistic about it, our target is probably people who just want to supplement their income a little bit. And I'm thinking of, you know, parents at home who have, you know, child responsibilities, or, you know, even somebody who's taking care of a parent or somebody like that, who just needs a few hours a week. And
I had a great conversation with one of our volunteers that's on our list, and she would be willing to give 2 days a week. She doesn't have an associate's degree, but she has a lot of years' experience with seniors. And, you know, I didn't give her an application, but I suggested it. The other job hasn't been posted yet anyway, but anyway, I mean, some people don't have the schooling, but they have the life experience.
exactly, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's, you know, I think we always say preferred, right? So, I mean, if somebody fills out an application, I think it's worth, you know, having the group interview them, Joan. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't
And
wanna
you know,
get-
if she's interested, give her an application and yeah,
you know, the problem with, I know you mentioned the schools. Parents are going to be home with their children for the summer. So it's kind of hard to,
They need to get out.
yeah, they do need to
They're
get out.
looking for
Yeah.
something to do.
But childcare will cost them more money than, you know, the
Yeah.
$19 an hour they'll make or whatever.
But if their kids are old enough, they can be, you know,
Sure.
stay at home for a few hours. Some of them.
So they're all great ideas. Who can help Joan deliver on them?
Joan, I'm available. Give me a call.
Okay.
I'll do it.
Sounds
mean,
good.
Yeah,
Again, we're not married to Indeed. We're getting nothing. So.
No, I know that, but you
Okay.
know, I don't know about Lori, but we're looking at the applications, the information we were getting from Indeed. It's not the easiest thing to navigate from an employer's point of view. Like you say, you've got to go back to them, and you know, a lot of people don't show up, and a lot of people have moved on, and the applications aren't all that fresh all the time. So it's difficult.
Yeah, when people are searching for jobs, it can change in an hour or a day. You know, they have their feelers out to 6 positions and they get calls from 3, and you know, ours was 2 weeks old. So, you know, they, like you said, they've moved on.
I mean, was there anybody so dynamic that you just can't wait to interview them?
Well, the woman that showed up, she was connected to Northampton Senior Center, and she has a lot of great background, and she's one of the ones that we're going to interview.
Right.
Can she do publisher? Is she got good computer skills? Can she?
So I some of that will come out in the interview. I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, I think it came with a resume, and most of them had job computer skills, but like you said, to what degree? Everybody
Yeah.
needs to have some computer skills nowadays.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're good at computers, just whatever you're doing, and you have to learn a new program, that's not that tough. You know, people who just don't use computers, sort of learning from scratch, that's a challenge. But like I've learned to run Audacity now, even me, you know.
I never even heard of it.
Me either.
It's for
Me either.
recording for the Valley Eye Radio, the visually impaired.
Yep.
And so I recorded home and sent it in, and
You
I've
and Tim
met-
Hoover.
who?
Tim,
Oh, yeah.
our driver.
Yeah, I recruited him. See, it works.
Oh.
Okay, so
In fact, I
just wanna-
recruited him as a driver.
Joan, if you can work
Okay.
on, I know, working on the PRF or the job description, if you could send that, I didn't even know there was a job description for the volunteer coordinator, so. And I don't know if there's a grade on it or not, or whatever, so,
I don't know.
Might need to be updated.
yeah, probably needs to be
Sure.
updated, but I just, if there's anything, just reach out for help. Because you've got willing people here to help you, and it's a lot.
It's all timing, and, you know, the daily things that come in the way, but I need to set aside time. Like tomorrow, we have a department head meeting at 10, and at 12:30, we have the feasibility thing. So
Why is there another department head meeting? Didn't you just have one last week?
I don't know there's stuff going on in town hall.
Okay, because we tried to make it the opposite week,
I know.
so.
Well, I think because the town meeting was canceled, maybe did they have select board this week?
Yeah, but it was more for budget than anything.
I don't know why. I apologize. I don't know why.
It was with the finance committee, so. But if you can get anything, get it out to everybody, and anybody that wants to try to, help clear up the job description for the volunteer coordinator. If there are things missing that you would like to have there, and I just sent out the sample from a posting of a town, Shrewsbury had posted this volunteer coordinator position on MCOA. So I just took it as kind of a talking point, so. And if
Well,
there
that's
are
good
things
to
you-
have.
I think it's excellent. And I think after we have something put together, and I'd be willing to do it, sit down with Flo and ask her, is there something that you do that we're not aware of that should be in there?
But she works Mondays and Thursdays. I can share her job description with her, and maybe she could take a look at it too and just say, what is it,
Right.
is there something missing?
Because I'm sure after 8 years, things have been added along the way.
And
Yeah,
maybe
just
the things
re-
Joan wants her to do. I mean, this one has senior work off, the volunteer coordinator.
Right, I saw
Yeah.
that. I would love that. That would be
So,
marvelous.
That would be, that's something, not something Joan, that Flo couldn't do, it's just, it makes sense that they're volunteers, and it would make sense that it would fall under her. So kind of to stimulate our thinking more than say this is the end product, so.
Right.
Okay, so we talked about the volunteer luncheon, friend update real quick, and then we're gonna move along.
What did Jonathan send us?
He sent us this. Okay, he talked about them, the April meeting, the balance of 13.5. He talked about the Friends picnic. I don't think is it the 13th? I don't think so.
It is the 13th. It's a Monday. It's the
Oh, yeah,
second
that's
Monday
right.
of the
Yeah,
month.
yeah.
And
That's
I
right.
just wanted to say that the Friends Picnic is, they're gonna sell tickets for it, and it's going to be a box lunch from a bagel place, but it sounds really delicious.
Mm.
And there's music, and
It's
it's
from, it's a
luau.
box lunch from Tandem Bagels. There's
Oh, I like
three
tandem
choices
bagels.
of food, food sandwiches. So they're more wraps than bagels. So,
Janet, can you email that to me?
I can
That'd be good.
be happy to.
I don't have to write as much.
You don't have to write, you can steal it, copy
Yeah.
and paste. And then they talked about the fundraiser, that they're gonna have a silent auction in August. So that's a good to know.
I did get a call from Robert Floyd. He wanted to know what we were doing on May 21st. I said, we are not doing our tag sale. I said, it's too much. I said, we're supporting the library and the church and their fundraising
And the Mothers Club plant
Mother-
sale.
and the plant sale, right?
Yeah, so, yeah, we're not doing anything, which is good. I think it's too much competition for the Friends.
And
then
too
you end
much, too much work.
too much cleanup afterwards.
Oh.
And then the Friends, the fundraising committee did participate in the first of 3 trainings for Friends of COAs regarding fundraising to get ideas. And so there's 2 more, there's one in June, I think one in July, or there's one in May and one in June. So that's great that the MCOA is providing that kind of training for a fundraising organization. So, and then they talked about having a Friends-sponsored bowling party over here at Canal Bowling Lanes, maybe sometime down the road, which everybody, I guess, thought was a fun idea. So I'll send this to you, Jim, and if you don't get it from me, yell at me and remind me.
Oh, I'd never yell at you, Janet.
Oh,
Because
not
you'll
once-
yell back.
Not once a day. Okay, feasibility committee update. I mean, just briefly, we have a meeting tomorrow. We're gonna speak to Attorney Kemp on the estate because there's new members that haven't spoken with her. We're having a discussion with folks from EDM, which is an architectural firm. We have to elect officers now that we have a complete committee.
Oh, we have a last person?
Yes, they were appointed a week ago, Tuesday, by the select board, Libby Baldwin.
Oh, great.
Okay.
It's good.
Then this gentleman, Andrew LaFosse, he's given us an outline of project management. Joan did some research, so she'll present some of her findings on the population and trends for the next 10, 20, 30 years.
That came all from Kathy Bowler, thank God.
No, you just have to explain it, that's all. Yeah, that's good.
And UMass. came
We
from
said
UMass.
Am
go
I the
to,
only one that doesn't know what that means?
what means?
These people you're talking about being appointed to what?
I'm sorry, this is an update for the feasibility committee
Okay,
on
For the new
the,
senior
for the
center.
new senior center. I'm sorry, I thought you followed the agenda, Jim.
well, I did follow it, but you're mentioning names to,
Yeah, you don't have to include, I'm just giving you. a
I don't know
quick update.
who's on the feasibility committee, so it's a
Yeah, we
little
don't
hard to
need to.
follow.
Jim, all you have to do for your notes is say that I gave an update regarding
Okay,
the feasibility committee.
it's done.
Okay,
So what is the time of the meeting tomorrow? And that's
12:30.
online?
12:30. It's posted on the website, on the My Town Government website. We're gonna review a list of potential properties and lands, and I did a summary sheet. Joan, I don't know if you've had a chance to look at that, but I asked for your input on that first part of it. the first
I
third.
said it was awesome, yes.
Okay, so you had nothing to add to our current situation?
I didn't go it line by line, but it looked like a lot of things were covered.
Okay, if you get a chance between now and 12:30 to just make sure we're not leaving anything out. We have a joint meeting with the we also get a report from the Public Safety Committee. And that's about it on the update for the feasibility, senior center feasibility. So Jim, we're doing we're gonna do a study based on the estate of Mr. Parsons. We're looking to outsource and bring in a firm to do some of that study, so. All right, we talked about the grants, the ARPA and the state formula grant. I think that just about does it. Any questions from the group?
Nope.
Anything else, Joan, Jim, Josie?
Not that I can think of.
Okay, so, our next meeting, I guess, is June 1st. Is that just crazy for you, Joan?
June 1st.
Is that gonna be a good date?
June 1st is great. I love the
It's
first
due
day of
date
it.
because, yeah, Monday is a holiday, right? For,
Oh, is that the holiday week? Oh, lovely.
yeah, so I'm just asking that you're not too jammed, so, but we'll plan on it June 1st for now.
Sure.
Okay. And at 4 o'clock. All right. And I'd like to make a motion at 5:31 to adjourn the meeting.
I will make a motion to adjourn.
And I'll second it.
Second, okay. All in favor, we have Lori,
Aye.
Jim,
Aye.
Josie,
Yes.
and Janet, yes. So Jim, if you want any information about the agenda, I just went down the agenda of the feasibility committee. It's on my town government. If you, but you don't have to go into major detail.
No,
about
I mean, the last I knew, it was just Jonathan and some other people around the
No, that-
feasibility study.
That was a subcommittee of the COA. So since
Yeah.
then, a feasibility committee has been appointed. People have applied for the 7 positions. Joan and Ed are non-voting members. They're, what do they call them, Joan? I'm just trying, ex officio
Ex
members. so
officio, yeah.
Uh-huh.
They participate on, and then 7 members were appointed by the select board. People applied, and 7 people were appointed. I think we had 8 people apply for 7 positions, which is great. We're
Great.
usually
Yeah,
filling
excellent.
seats. So we've had maybe 3 or 4 meetings at this point. Maybe this is our 3rd, Joan?
Yes.
Yeah, so tomorrow is our 3rd meeting, so we can meet the requirements of the will. And I forgot, oh yeah, so did we make a vote to part? I'm gonna stop the meeting then, since we have
Made the motion.
This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.